Okay, anyway, let's get this ball rolling.
All right. Sweet. Okay. Let's kick it off. Yeah, here we go. This one time, season 2, episode 3, right? I believe.
This is episode 22.
Episode 22 overall. Okay. All right. Yeah. So
Episode
we're into
22.
it
Overall, yes. Oh, of the
overall
new year.
of the new year. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still looking at YouTube, not understanding why it's not going. Okay. Anyway, we're here.
Yeah.
I think you might be right. I think this is episode 3. That would make sense because we're doing it bi-weekly so that everyone knows. So every other Thursday at 12:30 Pacific time, we're making it happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. For those joining us potentially for the first time, my name is Andrew Gillies. I'm the CTO and co-founders here at Urban Machine, where we're building big robots to reclaim lumber in the construction and demolition industry, trying to build that circular economy and help make a sustainable built environment for all of us. And what we're really trying to do with this podcast, with this one time, is kind of pull back the curtains a little bit on our hardware development journey. You know, there's that saying, hardware is hard, but you don't really ever get to kind of hear the contours, the dirty details about why it's so hard. So we're here to shed some light on that, share our experience, do a little bit of building in public, and really the hope is that maybe other folks out there building similar things, trying to work on these important challenges, that maybe that helps them reach their goal a little bit faster. It's really all about like building together and trying to take on these big, meaty challenges that we have facing today, and doing that as effectively as possible. Yeah, so as always, we have Jorie Wisnefski with us, our marketing manager at Urban Machine. And today, for the first time on the podcast, we have Maya Virgo, one of our shop technicians here. Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about the electrical systems on our machines, wiring, control panels, sensors, all our servos, all the rest of that. Because that's the bulk of what Maya's out there on the floor doing with us. Along, well, actually, just all the building,
Yeah.
just like really getting into the machine. That's where the rubber hits the road. Yeah, so we're going to be going through that. Jory, did we come up with a snazzy title today? Is there time for that?
Wiring wisdom.
Oh, that's good.
That's a nice title.
That's good. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so maybe we can. That's actually really good.
Thank you.
So, Maya, how long you started with us? Sort of
Yeah,
last week?
from the beginning.
March 6th.
March,
So I'm
okay.
coming up on a year now.
Oh wow, we're super close to a year.
Yep,
Wow,
yep.
crazy. Wow,
Went by so fast.
that is quick. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So maybe if you don't mind, you can share a little bit about like how you ended up at Urban Machine.
Yeah, so my background is I started off early 2000s with, I did an apprenticeship with the IBEW, Local 595, Alameda County. And I did my apprenticeship there for 5 years. Turned out as a journeyman and spent probably another good 7 years. The scope of work really is pretty vast, and mostly was working with larger wiring, as opposed to what I'm doing now with smaller. I am probably doing some larger stuff a little bit, but yeah. So I spent probably a good 13 years with doing that, and in between I did some other things. And landed up at a company called Speedex prior to coming on with Urban Machine, and it just seemed like a really good fit. So I'm doing mechanical as well as electrical work right now, and that's exactly what I did as the union electrician, mostly mechanical, and so that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, and we actually had a mutual connection because I went to grad school with Michael McKinley.
That's right.
That was it. That was a connection.
Yeah.
And how did we? Let's see. I think we found about that after because you saw. I think we were listing the job posting, and it was just happenstance that it was like, oh, Sudex, Michael McKinley.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, we have a direct connection there.
it seems like a small world in that realm there. I guess robotics probably.
In the Bay Area, yeah.
And how did you know him, Maya?
That's just, everyone knows
How did you
everyone.
know him, Maya?
I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of worked out that way. They went to school together. So I think
No, how you
robotics
knew him, Maya.
How I knew
Mike McKinley.
Oh, he was one of the founders for Studex. Yeah, he is one of the founders for Studex.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we're so happy that you're here, kicking butt.
Very happy to be here. It seems like a good fit for me. And this year flew by. So.
Yeah, and it's good that we have you, because when you joined us, our cabinets were a bit of a bird's nest. It was a little out of control.
Well, we've come a long way from the 3.0 build, right? I mean, I think the engineers did a really good job with designing the following builds, with adding in junction boxes and making the wiring really easier, tidier.
Yeah, and there's a few. Yeah, maybe we can start to talk about. Yeah, there's the 3.0 system. It worked, but wiring-wise, it was a total mess.
Yeah, we just had one. We had one cabinet for all of the wiring, so it was a bit crowded.
Yeah, and our system is pretty complex, right? There's like these 4 gantries, the birds we talked about a lot on the podcast before, and the clamp system, and it's really like all these distributed subsystems.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point, it just was like too hard. It didn't make sense to cram that all into one spot. With like the first disentanglement of that knot was like, oh, let's do these junction boxes. Let's like pop these little separate devices that are mapped to each subsystem and kind of have them sprinkled across the system.
And that's exactly as it should be. Everything gets a separate system, and you have better and troubleshooting and easy wiring and logical things.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there's been a few other things that we've been doing to improve the wiring as well, like designing enough room in cable trays, for example. It's been a big thing, like making sure that you account for where every wire is going to go beforehand and it has a home to land.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know, does it maybe make sense now to pull up some of those photos and we can kind of talk through some of the things we're seeing here?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you guys had your hands full at the very beginning, to as an overarching mechanical build, right? And then the wiring is a separate entity. There's usually a designer that designs all of that on print, and the wiring, how that's going to end up. And, so.
Yeah, it's a whole other separate role, whole other separate set of drawings and specifications there to meet.
And just coming from the world where you did, Maya, like when you walked into this, what did you see as far as the wiring?
Just
like,
as Andrew said,
when you saw what we had in place almost a year ago.
I mean, I see big improvements for sure. And that's coming from the engineers' designs, and it was with my interview with Andrew and Eric. They showed me the panels and the wiring panels, and he said, "We're hoping you can help us with this."
It was a
little bit out of control.
Yeah, so maybe we can.
I just want to understand, like, when they first, peeled back the curtain, what was your initial thought?
I mean, that was a prototype, and so
you can be honest.
It was a bit chaotic.
Yeah, eyeballs popping out of heads.
Yeah, it was a bit chaotic.
Yeah. It was.
Okay.
We did not have enough room in that thing. Yeah. So this
feel like every time I was in the warehouse, that's what I would see is somebody, somebody was really trying to figure out how to make it, usually Sasha trying to figure out how to make it a little more organized.
I mean, they've made great strides from just looking at the first one to what we have going on now. Everything looks so beautiful and clean and well designed.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's one of the panels. This is sort of mid-build, I would say. This guy. Yeah. And this
I'm not
is.
seeing it yet.
Oh, you're not seeing it? Let's see.
No, it looks like it's your internet connection is pretty slow. You guys are.
Let me stop and try again.
Pixelated.
Yeah, I see that.
99%.
Yeah, like I can see that you're trying to show it.
Yeah, let me try again here. How about now?
You guys are not sharing it all now.
Oh, we're not? Okay, well, maybe we can talk through as if it was here. So we always start, we always do panel builds with the back plate, right? That kind of like lays out the mapping of everything. I think one of the big improvements we had is just like table trays, like little like wire duct roots that kind of go in between and around all the various components.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that really kind of that really sets the stage. Like that's the platform on which everything else kind of rests, right? Like you get point to point, so that when you're coming off of your devices with the wire, they kind of just duct directly into the table trays. Yeah, another big thing that we've improved on is just like generally labeling of wires everywhere. Yeah, because oftentimes, like we've actually had really few problems with electrical in the field, like almost nothing. But in the off case that you need to go in there and troubleshoot something, you want to be able to reference that really quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want to try your pictures again? See if.
On our end, it looks like I'm sharing it.
Oh, gotcha. That's crazy.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I can. Let me try one more time.
It popped up and then it went away.
Oh, it did? Here.
Maybe try turning your camera off for a second. And, oh wait, there it goes. I see it.
There we go. Okay. So here it is. Yeah.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, Maya, you want to talk through some of this?
Yeah. So what we're looking at is basically the guts, if you will, of the panel. So it's designed up by the engineers, and then we basically connect it to the rails there, all of the components, so that we can wire everything that we can on the bench top for ease. And then those table trays, those plastic things that you're looking at horizontally and vertically, are the wireways, if you will, for each independent wire to come into its specific component. And by the time you're done with that, it looks like a lot of wires, but then you put covers on and it looks beautiful.
It's kind of like trim in a house, It's like you get it going, and then so this next photo is at mid-build.
There you go.
Right. So this one is literally this morning. We're building this one right now, so it's in process. And you can kind of see those wires jumping off the devices into the trays.
Yeah, and that's mounted inside of the control panel, the can, if you will, the metal panel. So we mounted the board into that, and it's starting to flesh out. And as you can see, there's labels on there so that if you are having problems, you can trace out and really troubleshoot and say, oh, this is that wire going to this location. It makes it a lot easier instead of looking at a million wires and just being frazzled.
Yeah. And some of the other fun things you can see from inside the box. Oh, go ahead, Jorie.
Andrew, from your point of view, like learning from her electrician brain, what have you gathered from working with Maya on this project?
Yeah, I think just being like clean and considerate as you're going through it, that I tend to try to hasty things together because I'm like impatient a little bit and want to get to the next step. But like taking taking the extra time to like strip the jacket back on a wire a little bit more so you can like reach a place more appropriately, making sure that the wires come like straight across to the tray. Labeling is the big thing. Like that, it just can't stress enough how important that is.
Andrew's always been pretty meticulous with his labeling.
Getting better over time. And yeah, just like being really rigorous with how you lay stuff out the first time pays dividends. I think that's been the big thing. And like thinking, yeah, it's pretty classic stuff, but like just trying to think through those details beforehand, like as you're going into it, really pays off.
That seems like a pretty good life lesson in general, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of applies to everything. Yeah. And we've been getting, there's a few other, so actually one of the tricky things is, so flip to so here's the box once it's in the field and kind of all buttoned up and tidied up. And one of the fun things on the build is see this like little red, kind of like this little red dial in the center front of the panel. If you can see that, Jorie.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Yeah, that's like the master on-off switch for the box, and that's kind of a tricky install, right? And you've done this a few times now.
Yeah, I've got it dialed in.
Yeah. You want to talk through like maybe that's I think that's an interesting moment, like because that's a fairly critical part of the build. That there's only like you got to get it right on the first shot.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been kind of measure twice, drill once kind of person, right? You get one shot at that. If you mess that up, then that whole can there is messed up. So basically you just have to figure out where that switch goes in CAD, and got a bit of latitude, forgiveness on the left to right, but the top to bottom has to be pretty much dead on, because of the mounting, where that gets mounted on there. And then there's a long rod that it has to intercept from the door there to the back of the panel into the switch. So it has to be pretty precise on that drill out for the panel.
Yeah, because the tricky thing is that when you open the door, it disengages from that pin. It kind of has to like funnel directly back onto that pin, and that latch acts as like a locking mechanism, so you cannot open the door when the switch is on. So it's really important those things line up, or else you wouldn't be able to close the door. And in the previous photo, you can see the switch on this right hand side. Yeah, and so that rod is going to come out of the circle here. And yeah, so those have to line up perfectly from the door to this back component here, or else you're kind of stuffed.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad you just showed me the before and after. That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. I think I have one other. Yeah, here's one other photo. Here's a nice one. This is kind of a twist because this one is it's a little pneumatics panel, which is
for metal detector.
Yeah, this is a metal detector. So this is for like a quality control. It's like a paint jet shot marking system that shoots a little dot of paint if the metal detector detects any metal. This one, as always, came out super clean as well.
That's super cool because someone was asking me about that in Savannah yesterday at Build Reuse. Was asking like, how do you go about measuring where the metal is? How do you mark it? And I knew there was something happening with paint, but now I didn't know enough about it to speak to it. So that's really cool. What a great addition.
Yeah. So that's what this is here. So this is like a regulator, and then this is the actual shooting mechanism. Behind this aluminum bracket, there's like a little nozzle that comes down, and then when we detect metal, the wood is coming through on this conveyor. It shoots a little dot down onto the wood. Yeah, this one
You
came
guys
out
are
of stuff.
so smart. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And this is the little reservoir for the extra paint.
Okay.
The concept
Yeah,
is
I'm sure
layout
they,
considered.
Mm-hmm.
Layout. You lay out the junction boxes or
measuring.
control panels. Yeah, and then you measure twice and drill once. Get all of your component connectors
That
into
makes sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. This is really cool. I'm glad I got to see this. And it's exciting to see your progress on the production model.
Yeah, it feels like we're in a groove now because we have this core design like the box that we were showing before, Jorie, and now we're kind of stamping those things out. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the last handful of them, like we can build them all in parallel now. Like we have them both on like table on all the junction boxes and everything, and we're like literally out there wiring these two next cells, like at the same time, like hand in hand. Yeah, so it's like
We're ready for mass production.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, spinning that flywheel. Yep.
That's awesome. And someone's saying that they see one tray. A comment on LinkedIn Live. John Jackson.
Sorry, what was that, Jorie? We couldn't quite hear it.
Oh, there was a comment on LinkedIn Live. John Jackson said that he can see one tray.
One tray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sees the tray. I'm assuming he means the receptacle for the excess paint.
Oh yeah. Because sometimes we have the jet shot over a tray, so if we want to either test it when there's no wood there, we're not just shooting it right onto the ground. We have some catch for it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's like a little catch bait for that paint, so it doesn't just get all over the freaking place. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's like a dustbin for paint.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
A catch-all, if you will. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very cool. This was a great episode. I'm glad that Maya got to share with us what she's been up to, and one of the many things, Maya is everywhere all the time.
Right.
Oh, your internet just got way better. All of a sudden, you guys got clear, and you're hearing my voice as I'm saying it.
Yay!
Yes, right at the end of the show.
Yeah, of course.
That's how it goes. Well, thank you very much. If you want to learn more about Urban Machine, certainly visit our website, urbanmachine.build. Any cool things happening there that people should know about, like our summer interns? Those are still positions that
we have intern positions open, so you can find those on our website as well on the career page. So if you're looking for an internship this summer, we're hiring across the team for that.
Yeah, we had 3 interns last summer. Is there a goal this? I mean, I know there's a goal, but I don't know what it is. How many are we trying to hire this?
I think summer? 3 again. Yeah.
They got big shoes to fill. Last year's interns were awesome.
Yeah. They were dynamite. They were out on the floor. They got a bunch of projects done.
They were cranking.
Yeah. So we're excited. We're excited to have.
September was really lonely.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's always rough in the fall when they go back. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Thank you, guys. This was great.
Thank you, Jorie. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with more exciting stuff to share.